Good day, student. My name remains Mr. Edo, your contact tutor for computer literacy. I welcome you to this presentation at the Institute for Open Learning, Iol Windhoek, Namibia. At Iol, we might not be the first but the best in distance education. I congratulate all of you to have passed your computer literacy 1. That is why you are qualified to write computer literacy 2. Congratulations. I also congratulate you to have worked hard. That is why you passed your assignment for computer literacy 2. Congratulations. But it is not over until it is over. Here comes examination time. You're welcome to this examination-based presentation to be presented to you by your contact tutor, Edo Triumph. What should you expect in this forthcoming examination? I will guide you in this presentation. Are you ready? As I always tell you, please do not wait until it is few days or few weeks before the examination before you start preparation. In that case, you have failed to prepare well for the examination. You have only prepared well to fail. What Mr. Edo is trying to tell you is that prepare in advance. Don't wait for the last minute. It does not help in your career. This presentation is for who? This presentation is for those students taking Diploma in Junior Primary Education, DJPE Cl12, and Diploma in Secondary Education, DSE Cl21. So I welcome you all to this presentation. Sit down and relax, as I will be the pilot, the contact tutor, to take you through this presentation. This presentation is for which examination? This presentation is for April, August, and November 2020 Computer Literacy 2 examination. So we don't have separate presentation for each examination. We've combined all the presentation together in one presentation so that we give you fair play. You know how it works in soccer. Fair play. So that you don't complain that the presentation given to April student those who write April examination is better than those who write August examination, or is better than those who write November examination. No. One presentation is given to all of you. You are all treated equally. As I always say, this is an examination-based presentation which guides you. This is not, by no means, a scope. That's why I put it very clear. This is by no means a scope. So don't not expect that in this presentation I'm going to tell you the units to read and tell you do not read this unit. No. I'm here to guide you, not to tell you what to read and not what to read. The format of the examination and that of the assignment remains the same. But before then, I talk about the format. I want you to take your mind or take your study guide and look at that area where we have examination terms, examination words, phrases explained to you. This is one area that students always ignore. To them, it's not that necessary, but Mr. Edo is re-emphasizing it here in this presentation that this section is very necessary for you to understand the various examination terms like discourse, define. I'm sure a lot of tutors must have told you about this, but please do not ignore this. They matters a lot. In computer literacy 2, the entire module is covered with questions selected from all the units. Now, the format of the exam. When you get your examination question paper, you are going to see, first of all, 10 multiple choice questions, of which question is 1 mark each. This multiple choice question is selected across all units of the module. So for you to pass this section of multiple choice, you must cover the entire module. Look very well before you pick your answer. It's a little bit critical when it comes to multiple choice. You can see 2 options that are almost correct. Do not pick an option without going through all the options. The instruction always says, pick the best option. So I'm looking for the best answer, not just any answer that you think that is correct. If you change your mind after you have picked, perhaps you already picked an answer in your multiple choice, please cancel it properly. I don't want to see 2 answers, then it becomes invalid. Number 2 point that I want you to get in respect to this multiple choice is that don't leave an answer blank. Let's leave the multiple choice now to other areas of the question paper. The next section that follows after the multiple choice is define the following computer terms and where appropriate add some examples. What are some of those terms that I can ask you to define? URL, phishing, homepage, IP address. Please, I want to sign the note of warning to you here. Words of caution. These things that I am mentioning here, or these things that you see from this presentation, is not a scope. So if I ask you, for example, explain these, then you say, oh, Mr. Edu, but that was not in your presentation. I have told you crystal clear, it is not a scope. So these are just examples that I'm using in my presentation. Do I make myself clear with that statement? I hope you understand. Otherwise, I will repeat myself again. These are just examples that I am using in my presentation. It is by no means to say or to tell you that these are questions that will come. No. I want to say something here about answering this area of the question. Can you look at that question, that thing that say ISP? Can you see that ISP? Now, for example, a question says, explain ISP. This is an acronym. It's not a word on its own. That is why it appears in capital letter. It is not a word on its own, it's an acronym, meaning that each alphabet here has a meaning. Internet Service Provider. So, to answer this question, first, you have to tell me the full meaning of the acronym. You tell me, okay, this means Internet Service Provider. First of all, tell me the full meaning of that acronym. Then you can tell me what it is. These are organizations that provide internet services to various users. After you must have told me that, you cannot give me examples. Telecom, MTC, and so on and so forth. Do you understand the way I approach the question now? So whenever you see something, if you look at another example is UPS. It's an acronym. It's not a word on its own. That is why every alphabet there is in caps form. If it was a word on its own, every alphabet there will not be in caps form. So first of all, you tell me the full meaning. uninterruptible power supply. It is used for this purpose and for this purpose. It gives the computer this advantage. In case power goes off, the computer system will not shut down. The power coming from the UPS will sustain the computer until power it is restored, or the user can shut down properly, thereby no document it is saved. Then you can talk about some of the good effect it has on the hardwares. So approach your questions properly. Then again, as I told you in Computer Literacy 1, define, explain your computer terms using professional and good technical terms. Let me give you an example here. You say free will from the examples that I have here. Okay, free will, these are programs or apps that can be downloaded free of charge. Now, fine. But imagine you write for me, free will is anything I can download. I don't like that word, anything. Free will, it is something that I can get for free. MTC can give you free SMS. Is that a free will? No. Learn to use professional and technical terms in your explanation so that your explanation makes sense to the examiner. So, in this area, before you can pass this section, you must read thoroughly, page by page, word for word, all the units. Because the questions for this section, it is being drawn from all the units. I can pick one per unit. So imagine you ignore one unit, and that is where I pick one of the questions from. Then you lose marks. I always tell my students, you don't know the importance of 1 until you get 49. So don't joke with any question. You don't know how important, it is just 1. You know the importance of 1 when it is 49. If you get 49, say, Jesus, only 1 mark left. That 1 mark that is left will lead you to another year. So cover the whole syllabus and pay attention to some of these things that I'm saying in this, my presentation. Is your mind with me? Please, if your mind is not with me as I'm speaking to you now, please bring your mind back to what I am saying. Keep the cell phone apart for now. Give me your undivided attention for the next 45 minutes to guide you. Let's look at something else that you should expect apart from this short definition or explanation. You're going to see a variety of questions with different mark values, which requires you to explain, to define, to discuss, to evaluate, that will come from the studied guide. One area that I'm going to focus on critically in this presentation is Microsoft Excel. This is an area that most students complain. But remember, Mr. Edo gave you an assignment, right? I gave you an assignment. And in that assignment, there was a practical assignment. And in that practical assignment, there was an Excel assignment, Microsoft Excel assignment. I'm going to test your practical knowledge now. I'm going to press your technical knowledge. So what Mr. Edo is going to do now, before I go there, quickly want to check something quickly. Before I go into the practical assignment that I gave you in your assignment, I want to beg you in the name of God. I want to beg you, as I believe, I want to beg you. If you know the practical work that you submitted to me in your assignment was not done by you, please go back to the computer and practice. Otherwise, you will find it difficult to answer some of these questions that we are going to discuss. So for now, let me talk about Microsoft Excel. Look at this sample question that you have on your screen. This is a Microsoft Excel question. The questions are always kind of common, you know, similar. Let's look at one of the sample questions. Name any cell on the spreadsheet that contains a value. What is a value? A value is any number that is used while working on Microsoft Excel. A value simply means numbers. Values are numbers. So if I look at this spreadsheet here, where can I see value? I can see value in cell B2. Cell B2, there you see 300. So cell B3, cell C2, cell D2, any cell where there is a number, that is a value. All you need to do, for example, in this case, you can just tell me B2, C2, but don't give more than one. If you give more than one to me, both correct and incorrect, that is what we call dumping. That is what we call dumping. It means you are dumping answers for me. You are not sure which one is correct. You are dumping both correct and incorrect answers. Even if the correct one is among the incorrect one, I will wrong everything for you. Why? It means you are not sure of what you are giving to me. So if a question says, mention a cell that contains a value, mention only one cell. Don't give me about 3, 4 cells. Mr. Ido, you can choose the one you want. I don't choose, I cancel, because we are not sure of what you are giving me. Do you understand that? Yes. Let's look at another sample question on Microsoft Excel. I want to spend a little bit of time here. That is what I told you. Name any cell on the spreadsheet that contains a label. Question: what is a label? Label simply means alphabet. Alphabet. So if you're working on Microsoft Excel, if I ask you to mention any cell that contains a label, I'm simply asking you, look at your spreadsheet and give me or mention any cell that contains a label. Take a minute, a second. Look at that spreadsheet. Can you see any cell where you can see alphabets? Those are the places you pick your answer from. Let's take an example here. For example, if I go back to the spreadsheet, if I say cell A1, what can you find in cell A1? Name. So that is a label. Cell B1 is another possible answer because there you have raise 1. Cell A4, where you have Simon. You see, these are all possible answers when you come to, say, mention a cell that contains a label. But be very careful the way you write your answer here. I just want to bring back a little bit from experience in marking some of those scripts. If you write your cell like this, 1A, you write your cell as 1A, my friend, you are wrong. It must be the alphabet before the number when you write a cell. So you don't write 1A, it should be A1. A1. And some students write just the column. They just write C. No. I did not say give me a column. I said give me a cell. They just write D. D what? And don't give me a range here. Just say A1 to A4. Be specific where I can see the answer. Is that point clear? Do you understand? Yes. Can you identify a cell that has a label? Can you identify a cell that has a value? Simply put, any cell that has a number, it means it has a value. Any cell that has an alphabet in it, that is a label. Just write the name for me. Your mark is guaranteed. Amen? Amen. Your mark is guaranteed. Are you with me? Good. Don't worry, you will pass. No? You will pass. Just do what I say. You will pass. Follow the rules. You will pass. To pass computer literacy is easy. Just like eating kapana, as I always say. It's just as easy as eating. When last did you visit single quarters? You know, when you eat kapana, it's not a big deal. It's easy. Computer literacy is easy. But, as I always say, follow the rules. Follow the rules. Let's look at another sample question here. Who won raise 3? Go back to the table. Before you can see who won raise 3. This is a common question. I mean a common sense. At times we say common sense that are common in a common place for common people. You see? Who wants raise 3? Before you can see who wants raise 3, you have to look at that column D, raise 3. Column D. Who is having the highest number there? Can you see that now? Who is having the highest number? Definitely it is Simon. The question says, who won raise 3? It did not say a cell. So don't write for me D4. I didn't ask you, write the cell where the winner of raise 3 is. That's not what I say. I did not say write the cell where the winner of raise 3 is. No. The question says who. So from the name, Simon. Because he got 300. Do you understand that now? Can you see it is simple? Just tell your friend, this is simple. Now I know. Come on. You know what to do now. All right, let's look at another possible sample question. How many columns are on this spreadsheet? How many columns? Here is another simple question, but with common mistake made by students. Do you know where the mistakes are? Or do you know where the mistakes always come from? Some students don't know how to count the columns. I'm going to count how many columns we have here now. I'm going to count how many columns we have here now. Look at this spreadsheet. Every column must have an alphabet. So your columns start from A. Can you see that now? Column A, this is column. This is another column. Another column. Another column. Another column. Can you see that now? Column A, column B, column C, column D, column E. So we have 5 columns. 5 columns. You don't count, let me be specific here. You don't count this one as a column. You don't count this one as a column. This is not a column. It is not a column. This is where mistake comes from. We have just 5 columns here. This is not a column. Do you understand that now? Your columns start from where the alphabet is. Column A, column B, column C, column D, column E. So how many columns do we have? 5. Again, 5. Again, 5. Finish. C'est fini in French. No problem. Another thing is, how many rows do we have here? There comes the problem. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 rows. We have 7 rows. You don't count this one. This is a column heading. You don't count that. It's not part of your rows. Your rows start from where the 1 is. Your rows start from where the 1 is. So you see that these are free questions. How many columns? how many rows, a cell that contains a value, a cell that contains a label. These are free form marks that you must never miss. How many columns, how many rows, a cell that contains a value, a cell that contains a label. Free marks that you must never mix. Promise me you will not miss them. So Edo, I promise you I will not miss those free marks. Is that a promise? I will know after the exam. Yeah? Good. Let's continue. Write down the formula that should be in cell E2. The formula that should be in cell E2. Here comes the problem again. Formulas, formulas, formulas. I'll guide you. Don't worry. That is why I'm here. I'm here to guide you. Know? I'm here to guide you. Formulas. Every formula in Excel must start with an equal sign. That is the first thing the examiner looks at. Every formula starts with equal sign. So if I look at your answer, whenever I ask you to write a formula, I look at it, the equal sign is not there. I'm no longer interested with anything that you have written. Can you see that now? Once I look at your formula, your answer that has to do with formula, and I don't see the equal sign at the beginning, I don't bother to look at anything that you have written. So the equal sign is the first thing that you must write. The equal sign should not be the last thing. First thing is equal sign. Do you understand? Yes. Then after the equal sign, how do you write the formula? Let us go back to our table now. We are asking, what should be the formula in cell E2? E2. What formula should be in cell E2? What should you do? You go to E2 first of all. Let's go there. This is E2. What do you think is happening here in E2? Look at your column heading. What do you see here? Total. Total. Can you see that total? E2. So the whole of this column is all about total. The whole of this column is all about total. So this is total of what? Remember, I have raise 1, raise 2, raise 3, total. So a common sense will just tell me total of raise 1, raise 2, and raise 3. Meaning I'm going to add raise 1 for John, raise 2 for John, raise 3 for John together. If we are to talk about it mathematically, please don't get this very clear. If you are going to talk about it mathematically, I want the total for John. Definitely is going to be 300 plus 100 plus 250. Then we have the total for John. I'm supposed to add these together to get the total for John. But in the computer, we don't use the numbers. We don't use the numbers. We use the name of the cells where the numbers are. Cell 300 can be found in cell E2. Where can you see this 100? I can see it in B2. Can you see now? Where can you see this 250? I can see it in, sorry, there's a mistake here. Pardon me, let me just take it from beginning again. I misplaced this cell. Equal, where can you see this 300? In cell B2. That was a mistake, sorry. This 300 is in cell B2. Plus, where can you see this 400? This 400 is seen in cell C2. Can you see that now? Plus, where can you see this 250? It's in D2. Can you see now? So you don't use the numbers. You use the cells where the numbers are. I'm looking for the total for John. John is 300 plus 100 plus 250. But where is this 300? Let's go back to the table. That I will show you now. Let's go back to this table. Here is the table. Can you see this 300? It's in cell B2. Can you see this 100? It's in cell C2. Can you see this 250? It's in cell D2. That is column D, row 2. That's why we call it D2. So just use the name of the cell instead of the numbers. That is why if you go back to what I wrote here, I said B2 plus C2 plus D2. My dear, I will take my pen and give you a very good, correct mark. I will even clap for you while I'm marking, but you won't see it. You won't see that. Nah? Is your mind relaxed now? Just breathe in and breathe out. Relax. Take it cool. Don't be stressed. Come on. It's easy to pass. Just follow the rules. Don't worry. Don't be tired. You will get a cup of coffee. I don't know how I'm going to send the coffee. Maybe I should just add it to this presentation. So when you download my presentation, you will download the coffee. You will just see coffee coming out from your computer. It's a miracle, no? Miracle can happen anytime. All right. Okay, relax, my dear student. Let's look at the next sample question here. In cell E6, the formula that is there. The first thing that you should do, we are looking for the formula in cell E6. First thing, what did I say is the first thing? Who can remind me? Unfortunately, I cannot call you from here. Okay, so I'm talking to you. You that is looking at me now, they're watching me. What is the first thing that I say you must do? Can you remember? Equal sign. Correct. Equal sign. Can you see? Equal sign. Correct. Equal sign. Now we are looking for the formula where? The formula for cell E6. Let's go back to our table here. E6. Can you look at E6? Here is E6. Can you see that now? Here is E6. But look at here. Total. So we have total for is 1, total for is 2, total for is 3, and all the totals added together. So the total for John, the total for Perry, the total for, who is the last person? Ronald, will be added together here, E6. So the first total here, what is the name of that cell? It is cell E2 plus another total here. For the next person, E3. Can you see that now? The last total, another one here. So the first one is E3, E4. Then we have another one here, E5, E5. So you have E3 plus E4 plus E5. Are you fine? Yeah. Let me show you another way of doing it. Instead of me writing them one by one, equal E3 plus E4 plus E5, instead of writing them one by one, here is another short method of doing it. You say equal sum. Sum is a function that add together. Sum, then you open a bracket, E3 to E5. E3 to E5. I want you to look at it. What makes the difference here? What makes the difference here? I'm adding together. Let me write it properly here. Remember, the first formula that I gave you, I said equal, I said E2 plus E3 plus E4 plus E5. Yeah. There's no problem you writing it one by one. There is no problem you writing it by one. There's no problem. I will mark it for you. If you write it one by one, I'll mark it for you. The first one, E2, E3, E4, E5, I'll mark it for you. Let's have a look at the table again. I know why I'm trying to put a little bit of emphasis here. I said E2, here is my E2. Can you see that now? Because there is a total here. Here is my E3. Can you see that? E3. Here is my E4. Here is my E5. So all I said is E2 plus E3 plus E4 plus E5. That is what I have here on the table. So you know where I got my things from here now. So the second method I was trying to explain to you is I can say equal sum. You open a bracket. You open a bracket. Take the first one. Take the first one and the last one. So you say E2 to E5. Which one is more easier for you? Is it that you take it one by one, or you use the function of sum? If you are going to use the sum function, you pick the first one and the last one. To me, the second one is preferable. Do you know why? Let me tell you one danger with the first method. If you miss one, if you omit one, your answer automatically it is wrong. The first paper that I wrote for you, let me bring it on board again. The first paper that I wrote for you, did you notice here that I omitted E2? Did you notice that I omitted E2? Did you notice here that I omitted E2 when I wrote the first one? E2 was missing. That is human being for you. We can make mistakes. But, sorry, my dear student, when it comes to the examination, the examiner will not look at those things. It is assumed you don't know. But I omitted E2 while I was writing it. By error. That is why I cancelled it. Because I omitted E2, I cancelled it, and I wrote it again properly here. E2 plus E3 plus E4 plus E5. In order to avoid this type of mistakes, use this function of sum. Why? Only two cells are needed. The first one and the last one. So there's no way you are going to miss one. The first one and the last one. Because a question can be that you have almost 5-7 cells to write. You have almost 5-7 cells to write. Among those 5 and 7 cells, if you omit one, then you miss it. You'll be marked wrong. To save yourself that problem, use the range. Use the range. In using the range, very simple, pick the first cell and the last cell. I want to show it to you again. Pick the first cell and the last cell. And when you write your toe, it must be written like this, not like this. If you do it like this, you are wrong. And when you write your toe, don't write it in word. If you write it like this, you are wrong. And don't use your toe like this. If you write it like this, you are wrong. Your toe must be written like this. So the choice is yours, my beloved student. The choice is yours, free to use any of the method. I want to believe that I have done justice to this topic of Microsoft Excel that always pose problems to students when it comes to the examination. But in case you still have problems with it, contact me, I will guide you. Let us continue for the rest of the time to check other things that can be expected in the examination. Microsoft PowerPoint. Pay attention to this following. Remember, I gave you an assignment on Microsoft PowerPoint. Now in the exam, I can ask you to outline how to prepare PowerPoint. I can ask you to write down for me the steps. You've done the practicals. Can you write it down for me in the examination? What is the difference between a free well and a share well? What are the advantages of internet in our society? Disadvantages of internet in our society? These are questions that you can be asked. But remember, I told you at the beginning of this presentation that this is not a scope. It's just sample questions that I'm just trying to go through with you. So on no means should you rely that these are the questions that Mr. Edo is going to give to me in the examination. I'm just guiding you in this presentation. How to evaluate internet resources, computer viruses. What is a computer virus? What are the effects of computer viruses on the computer? And how can you take computer viruses out of your computer? I want to quickly talk about email and internet. Please do not ignore it. Email and internet. How can you send an email? How do you send an email? What are the procedures for you to use when sending an email? And if you are working on Microsoft Publisher also, Microsoft Publisher is an area that you must not also ignore. It has to do with design. Okay, finally, section 2. I call it section 2 for a reason. Do you know why? Your computer literacy is divided into two areas. 80% computer literacy, 20% library science. Library science, BIS. This 20% library science, from experience, most students or some students do ignore this area. They take it for granted. They do ignore this area and they take it for granted. And it counts for 20% of the question, the library concepts. In the library concepts, one question that is always asked all the time is, you are asked to write a story based on a given picture. I'm going to give you an example here. To write a story based on a given picture. What does it mean? Look at this picture. Can you see that picture? Meaning, I can give you a picture like this or any other picture and ask you to write a story based on this picture. Do not describe the picture, but develop a short story based on the picture. What do I mean by do not describe the picture? What do I mean? This is what I mean. I'm not asking you to tell me that, oh, in this picture, I can see people dancing, I can see the DJ playing, I can see a house, I can see people drinking, they are dressing nice. I'm not asking you to describe the picture for me. What I'm asking you is, come out with a story that if I read that short story, it will be based on this picture. Develop a short story that is based on this picture. For example, I can come out with a story like this based on that picture. It was a beautiful day. The sun was bright. People gathered at the beach. They were having fun. People were dancing. My friend invited me to a party at the beach where people were dancing. People are allowed to come with different dresses and this. You are trying to develop a story. At times it can be, once upon a time, there was this man who liked to party. On his birthday, he invited his friends to the party. Then there was this good DJ, you want to come up with a nice story that portrays the picture, not to describe the picture for me. I'm sure you understand what I've said now. I can give you a picture of a lion. I can give you a picture of a lion and a mouse, and then ask you to write a picture based on that. Don't tell me I can see a lion, I can see a monkey. No. From the picture that you see, what do you think is happening? What story can you tell me? Stories are nice. What is the purpose of these? We want to train you to write little stories based on pictures, because you deal with junior primary learners. Another area that I want you to also look at is how to write a reference. This shouldn't have been a problem, because for every assignment that you submit, you always tell us where you get your material from. But in this case, you must write using the APA format. So I can give you some indices, then ask you to write the reference using the APA. How to reference a book, how to reference a printed book, how to reference a book that is retrieved from the internet, how to reference an article. All these are in your study guide. Like this example that I have on the screen, I said the title is Married Again, Z word. Ne? Please don't watch too much Z word. At times, if you don't use your time well, most of the every day you are just watching Z word, and you don't have time to read. So because I'm using this example, don't say Mr. Ido is bringing his question from Z word. Are you? Just an example. Okay, let's go back to the table. The title of this book is Married Again. That is the title of the book, Married Again. Who wrote this book? Jennifer Brown. Who published this book? The publishing, like Macmillan, for example. Who published this book? Z Books. Where was this book written? It was written in Windhoek. When was it published? 2015. Then write a reference for me here. Here is a format. Very easy. Check them in your study guide. You tell me the surname or the last name of the writer, the initial, the year it was published. You put a period, a dot, the title of the book. Then you tell me the city of publication, then the publishing organization. It must be in this sequence. Don't tell me the author before the place of writing. The city of writing. It must be in a sequence. It's a format that must be obeyed. So if you put, for example, the city of publication before the author, then we mark you wrong. Practice it. But take note of this. Take note of this. Referencing a book that is printed is different from the way you reference a book that you retrieve from the internet. There are quite a lot of them in your study guide. Should in case you have most problem, you're free to contact me. So, my beloved students, please do not ignore this library concept. If you do, you are inviting problem for your examination, which I don't want you to do. As I always say, we have 40 to 45 minutes to do a presentation for you. There is no way I can cover everything that you need for the examination. But do you know one thing? I'm available for you to contact. I'm available for you to contact. You can reach me should you need more help on my cell phone number. It has never changed. That number is never changed. It remains on 081 480 4091. On my email, you can SMS me, you can give me a call. If you don't have money to call, you can SMS me, I will call you. But call me after work, not when I'm at work. When is after work? Anytime from 5:30 in the evening, free to contact me. I will reply your call or reply your SMS. Email me 24 hours. I will reply your email. Free to contact me. Don't forget, to download past examination question paper to see the format of examination. Don't forget to download past examination feedback. My beloved students, it's painful to let you go after computer 2, because after computer 2, I don't see you again. I was with you with computer 1, now computer 2. After computer 2, I don't see you again, but I'm going to see you again. Where am I going to see you? I'm going to see you in the graduation hall with the gun, throwing up the flower. I can't wait to see you in that day. But for that day to come, you must prepare. You must work hard. Obey the rules. We shall meet in the graduation hall. I wish you all the best in your examination. Thank you.